All right, guys, I know everybody's starting to filter in here. I'm going to give this just a couple of minutes. Um, I'm filling in the last few holes here. I'm having a bit of a late start. I got delayed at work with some stuff at the station there, so it's taken me a minute to get everything going here. So just give me a second and let me get things all rocking and rolling here. Looking for my little windows. Where did they go? We got a bunch on tap tonight. It hasn't been crazy busy today, but there is a lot going on, and we will go through everything. Um, we will briefly discuss what's going on with the shooter today that we had. Another shooting situation, of course. Um, it seems to be becoming the norm or something. I don't know. And let's see here. Let me find another one to go in here. There we go. I'll turn that one on. There's Sturgis on the left, Skid Row in the center, and on the upper right there, that is Hollywood, Los Angeles. It's a walk around Hollywood they're doing right now. And I do hate the upright format, I got to tell you guys. Also, in radio news, reports coming in now that Howard Stern has been canceled. That's pretty big news. I think his movie is one of the coolest movies. I love that movie. It's top 50 for me. That says a lot. I mean, it's a great movie. Him as a person, I'm not as much on. I'm just I don't know. I kind of liked him better back when he was just doing toilet humor. Hate to say it, but who is that live? Ryan Scholl. It looks like he's live. I'll change out this with Skid Row. That gets depressing watching that. This is a live storm chaser that's out right now, and he's got a hell of a supercell right there in front of him. And that is live. This is in South Dakota and Wyoming. And we're going to go catch up with them in just a minute. I love when people title their video, "This is my absolute last live video ever." And it's like, but you said that 2 weeks ago in your live video. I got to tell you, at work, one of the weirdest things we have, this phenomenon at work, is we get what we call the hate listener. And hate listeners are literally just what it is. They hate us, so they listen. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. As long as you're being entertained, I'm happy. But these people are angry, and they write in all the time, "You SOBs, you pieces of shit," whatever. And then they get to the point where it always ends with, "And I'm never listening to you again because you suck." And then the very next day or 2 days later, we get another long rant. "I can't believe you wrote this about, I can't believe you said this about that. I can't believe you did this. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm never listening to you again." And about 3 nights later, another rant comes in. "I cannot believe you're not covering this and you're covering this ridiculous mess." And it's like, "I'm never listening to you again." Oh my God. I'm not exaggerating either. There's literally people that tell us at least twice a week that they're never listening again. Okay, this is purported to be an anti-Trump protest in Texas. And the lighting looks proper, I think. I'm going to put it up for a few minutes. I'm going to put it in place of the rolling cam down here, because that's just those same 50 views again. There's nothing really going on there. This is reported to be live. It's going to be a Texas protest. I'm going to get the little word things in here for you guys. I know everybody prefers when I get those in, but they're quite an extra step. But I'm going to do what I can to get them in here as soon as I can find the damn thing. This is this is a Texas protest, and they're protesting the redistricting. Um, the Democrats are constantly redistricting in order to gain seats, and now the Republicans have started to do it, and they are mad. Um, and I see both sides of that one. Um, you know, you can only do something so long before the other side catches on. That's all I can say. Be happy you had it while you had it. And then this is live. I'm going to move this Hollywood cam down here. Just bear with me here. Oh, for God's sake. God damn it. I don't know who designed this program, but I'd love 5 minutes with them in a room. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's live. I think that's last night. I just changed my mind on that one. It's all right. What I'm going to do is leave this just like this and go ahead and transition. There we go. Um, I'll get this figured out in just a minute. Right now, you got the Texas protest of the Texas redistricting. You got a storm chaser in South Dakota and Wyoming up top. And you've got Sturgis with one of the largest motorcycle rallies in the country going on right now. Let me look around and see what else I can find. Oh, before I do that, let me get a chat room up so I can say hi to everybody. Sometimes I get so engrossed in trying to get, especially when I'm late getting started like right now, I get engrossed in the job, of trying to get things going, and I end up forgetting about the most important people out there, and that's you guys. Thanks, Pete. Thank you very much for the super chat. I do really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It makes a big difference. As a matter of fact, I made a pledge to you guys a while back, and the pledge still stands. I don't ask for supers. I do appreciate them. All the money I make on advertising and supers gets rolled back into this room and the products that we're able to provide to you. So yeah, we are trying our best here. This is Starship Adventures. Hello everybody, my name's Ian and I am flying solo tonight, but I've got my crew here in the chat room, so we'll be able to navigate the nebula together. We are going to be covering all the different news items tonight. There is a lot that's happened. It's not a real busy day, but there's a lot that's happened tonight. Just to give you guys a little insight, I like to show people this shot, and then I like to qualify it with the fact that I'm frugal. Every single monitor you see in this shot, and I swear to this, every single monitor you see in this shot has been purchased by me at Habitat for Humanity in the last 4 years. I have not bought a single brand new monitor. Everything in here has been given to me, or I bought it at Habitat for Humanity. The computers I buy for $95 a piece, except for the 2 supercomputers, which I built from scratch myself. Even the ham radios over here, all secondhand equipment. This one's, I'm the 3rd key on this one. The first 2 owners are dead. I'm the 2nd key on this one. First owner's dead. These radios all mean a lot to me, and I already know who they're going to be passed off to when I go. So I'm very cheap with my money. So when I show you this, I don't want you to think that, oh my God, this guy, this guy's got it doesn't. I'm doing a lot with a little, and I show you this because I'm proud of it. Back here you see 2 monitors out. Those both went out during a lightning strike. I have already replaced the monitors, but the display ports have gone out in the HP thin clients. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do there. We're going to be slowly, when I say we, it's pretty much me now at this point. I'm going to be switching from, I think I'm going to be building some more of these Linux machines. I think is what I'm going to end up doing. We've wrote a new program this week, Jake's my software guy, and we wrote a new program this week that is for the scanner programs that we have. And our goal is to provide you a constant scanner feed without dead air and without overlapping transmissions and without missing transmissions. And so we figured out how we can do that by literally recording each transmission on each of the different channels and then playing them back as soon as we can on a playback channel. It delays things by maybe a minute or two at the most, but the neat thing about it is you're hearing everything. You're not missing anything. There's not double audio and there's no dead air. So we've been working on that. Our total cost on that so far is nothing. We've so far Jake has built it. He's not charging me nothing. I wrote basically what needed to happen. It was a 6-page prompt that I wrote for the AI, and then he took it from there. And him and the AI have wrote this thing, and it's working. We're working on some memory leak issues right now, but this thing's going to be amazing. And we're going to offer it. I don't know if we're going to offer it as freeware. I think we're going to do donationware, where we ask you for $3 or something really cheesy. And then some people will give us that, and it'll help us keep going. We don't want to make a lot of money. We're not trying to. But this program, it's something you could run in your computer and literally just put in the links to the things you want to listen to and then tell it to go, and it would start recording everything and playing it back for you in a nice, orderly fashion. Really, really cool. I hope to get that to everybody soon. We will be offering it to everybody for, like I said, either freeware or donationware. We're not going to be charging a bunch of money for it. All right, I got to fill that last hole. Also, I want to look. This is our big map today. Look at that. We've got 3 storms out there, guys. 3 storms on Radar Omega. And yeah, there you go. We've got up here, we've got Dexter. There you go, Dexter. Max winds 52 miles an hour. No big deal. He's a fish storm. He's going to go extra tropical. That's what those white circles mean here. In about 12 hours, Dexter is going to be extra tropical. This one down here, we've got Invest. This Invest down here in the Pacific is currently forecast to reach hurricane strength as it passes off south of the south end of the Baja of California. So that is something to watch there. But again, it's going to go off into the open Pacific, other than maybe Gilligan's Island, which is out there somewhere. We're not sure where it's at. Everybody should be okay with this one. And then this storm here, this is Henriette. Not Henrietta, because Henrietta is in the Atlantic. Henriette, that's an Atlantic name. This is a Pacific name. Henriette is 52 miles an hour, moving off to the west with a minimal central pressure of 105 millibars. And there you go. So that's what we have going on right now. As far as in the continental United States, we have got this area in the middle green that you see here. There's a slight risk of severe weather here. There's not a lot going on tonight. We do have a couple of storm chasers. I'll go ahead and put them up here. Look at that. He's got a rainbow. As we say in the radio business, I'll be damned. There it is. There's the rainbow. Okay, and let's see here. Let's see what other cameras we've got. I do have a couple of fixed cameras in the area where the storms are going to be coming through. I'll go ahead and stick a few of them up. That's near Lincoln and Des Moines and Sioux City. Every time I think of Sioux City, I think of that plane that went down there. They made a movie about it, and it's a great movie. It's got the guy that played John Boy. And it's a great movie. I showed this movie once a year at my fire station. I screened it for my guys. I screened it. I'd let them out an hour early from training. We'd get out at 9 instead of 10. And I'd screen the movie, and I'd encourage everybody to stay and watch. Or if they've seen it, they could go home. And usually everybody would stay and watch. It's a good movie. But it showed an airport where one of the first to actually put an incident command system in place. And they did a really good job of putting this incident command system in place. And sure enough, they get a crash coming in They had a plane coming in that lost control, and it was coming in and it rolled in, and there was a lot of survivors spread over an area. Um, it was a very very cool movie, especially if you're in the fire service, because it kind of spelled out how it works in the fire service nowadays. It's kind of like Emergency, the TV show Emergency was back in the day. Do you guys know what Emergency is, right? Um, the magnetic pole shift occurring earlier than expected and one were to occur at Bexingham. I don't believe so. No. First of all, I really don't believe that's an our lifetime thing. The polar, an absolute polar shift. It does happen. They do believe it. This is a phenomenon that happens, and it is quite disruptive to a lot of things. I also, though, know it only happens very rarely, and the chance of it happening in the remainder of our lives would be, I think, pretty slim. I don't believe that would affect your radio equipment if it was turned off and disconnected. Now, when something's connected to an antenna, it's very susceptible. If you connect your radio to the power grid and to an antenna up 40 feet in the air, you got to admit that thing is widely susceptible to electromagnetic surges and things like that. But when it's unplugged completely and it's sitting in a metal box under your cabinet, it's pretty safe there unless it's something pretty close, an EMP pulse from a thermonuclear or something like that, or a really big, like a Carrington event on the sun, those kind of things. But for the most part, that would protect what you got there. And I don't really worry about that as far as my equipment goes, a polar shift, because I just don't think it's going to produce. I don't think it's going to produce the surging that would be necessary to create damage in a radio. All right, let's see what else we got. Anything else in the chat room? Hello, Red. Hello, Ding. Hello, Pete. And yes, hello, Critter. You guys listen. If you're not in the radios, I try not to spend too much time on radios. I try to go over it and then go past it. So bear with us if you're not in the radios. If you're kind of in the radios, you might find it very interesting. Amateur radio is a great hobby to get into, and it doesn't cost much of anything to get into it. And then, of course, it can become a very expensive hobby, too, just like any other hobby. But I would love to talk to anybody about ham radio and help you guys get started. Um, yes, Red, it has happened, but here's the thing. How often does it happen? Once every 1,000 years, once every 2,000 years, once every 5,000 years. Here's the thing. If it happens once every 1,000 years, then I'm only going to live 20 more years. Now, I know some of you guys are a lot younger than I am. I'm almost a geriatric. I'll get my retiree card here before long. But see, I got like 20 years left. If it happens once every 1,000 years, the chance of me getting it is like 2%. For the rest of you, probably 4 or 5%. That's all I'm saying. And I'm kind of making up these numbers, and I'm kind of not. But think about it. If it happens only once every 500 years, and you're only going to live for 50 more years, that's still only a 10% chance. So I don't see it. We are much, much, much more likely to be hit by a Carrington event on the sun. And I'll talk in depth about Carrington one night. That was an amazing event. That was named after a stargazer named Carrington, an astronomer, and he watched through a solar telescope. He watched the solar flare explode on the sun, and he drew pictures of it as it was happening, and it became named after him and became known worldwide as the Carrington event back in 1859. And this event created fires all along the railroad tracks across the country, fires in telegraph booths, telegraphs working without the batteries being connected, crazy weird things that were happening back then. This was before two-way radios, before FM radio, anything like that. They were using wired teletype and railroad tracks, and it still wreaked havoc, killed people. People would touch the railroad tracks and it would instantly kill them because of the amount of electricity that those tracks were collecting. Now, you can imagine how much energy our electric grid will collect, and it won't be able to spell it off. And of course, the more renewable energy you have on your grid, the harder it will be for your grid to stay alive during an onslaught like this. So yeah, it's one of those things. I think, like I said, the sun or a thermonuclear from humans is both much more likely than the other. Okay, let's see here. I think I'll do that emergency thing a different night. I want to talk to you guys about that TV show Emergency one night. I want to tell you guys, we'll do it one night this week, but I want to pull some stuff up and have it ready, and I didn't have a chance to do pre-show tonight. This show was about two firemen paramedics, Johnny Gage and Roy DeSoto, and they worked at Fire Station 51 in Los Angeles County. And this show was shot from the very early 70s all the way through most of the 70s. And it was really the first ever show about firefighters. And it was made by Jack Webb, a man that made Dragnet and Adam 12. I know you guys have heard of those shows. And this was a 1 hour show, where the last two shows he had produced were 30-minute shows. And this show was such a great, amazing show. It actually showed these firemen in their normal day-to-day life. They would sleep at the firehouse. They would screw with each other in the bathroom. They would do all the normal stuff you'd see at a firehouse, waxing the trucks, making jokes, the captain getting onto them for things. And then the call would come in, and you would follow them on the call, and you would get to watch them. They would do high-angle rescue, fire rescue, every kind of rescue you could imagine these two guys would do. And of course, they had an engine with guys on it, Stoker and Chet, Captain Stanley, and they would all respond as well, and they would get to the scene, and they would do whatever they had to do to save lives. And then when they get them back to the hospital, you got to follow the patient through the hospital process. You had Dr. Brackett and Dr. Early and Nurse Dixie McCall, and you got to literally follow the people at the hospital trying to continue saving their life. It's the first time most people in the country had ever seen CPR, or cardiopulmonary resuscitation. These were the first firemen in the country to carry IV therapy on the rig. They actually started a line with D5W, TKO, which is nothing but just a bag of dextrose 5% in water, and TKO just to keep the vein open. But the coolest part about it was that's where I became interested in firefighting and hoses and trucks and blinking lights. I started loving everything about firefighting with this show. It was absolutely amazing. And I watched it every week when it was on. And some of the first things I recorded with my first VCR was I bought a top loader VCR. In today's money, it was about $1,000. I had saved up for this thing. I was 15, 16 years old. I was cutting lawns. I was working here, working there. And I saved up for this top loader VHS VCR. The blank tapes were $8 a piece. And I could fit, believe it or not, 7 episodes on a tape, because I would use the SLP, or the slow play. And what I would do is I would cut out the commercials. I would sit there and hit pause and hit record and hit pause, and I would cut out the commercials, and then I would end up with 7 episodes in 6 hours. And I used to love I used to just love it. And I remember the dispatcher that they had. It was always the same dispatcher sitting there. And come to find out later, he was actually an LAFD fire dispatcher, and that they actually just paid him to sit in for the shots and show the guy rescue one, right? You know, he would talk on the radio. I used to think that was so cool. Those tones, the tone that station would get to set off its Claxton horn, those were the tones on my cell phone for years. It was crazy. The whole time I was a firefighter, we would all get together at the station and watch old reruns of Emergency. It was almost like a thing. Most of the guys at the firehouse when I was there were there because of that TV show. People don't ever give enough credit to TV shows. You know, you got some shows like idiot shows like Friends and stuff. Okay, they're fun. If you want to watch them, that's fine. It's a bunch of idiots in a coffee shop. Even Seinfeld, as much as I liked the show, it was a show about nothing. I mean, let's face it. But some shows, like Emergency and Dragnet and Adam 12, and when it comes to space, Star Trek and Stargate and Battlestar Galactica, when it comes to these shows inspire people to go on in life. They inspire people to become more than they would have been normally. And that's why when people start with this, TV rots everybody's brain. Shit, no. TV is what made me love TV. TV is what made me love space. TV is what made me love being a firefighter so much that I put my fat butterball ass through fire school and ran 2 miles. Well, I walked part of it, but I still got in under the time. The point is as much as they blame everything on TV and then eventually they blamed everything, you know, at one time they were blaming comic books for the destruction of the world. These comic books are rotting these kids' head. They walk into the Five and Dime and they buy several of these comic books and God knows what they go off and do with themselves. And then next thing you know, they invent the radio. Oh, those nightly serials on the FM, on the AM radio, those nightly serials, they're bad. They're about ghosts and about dead people, and they're about things that go bump in the night, and they're just not good for people to be listening to, and they're going to rot everybody's brain, and everybody's going to die. And then next thing you know, TV is invented. Oh my God, TV is so bad. It's so bad. It's going to rot our kids' brain. School will never be the same. It's going to be completely messed up. Kids will be like lost in the ozone now because there's TVs everywhere. You walk by the McCory's store and there's 20 TVs in the front window. Our youth is never going to have a chance. I think they said the same thing about drive-in theaters at one time. And then next thing was the video game. Oh my God, these video games straight from hell. They're going to ruin everybody. The devil himself made PlayStation. The stupid stuff. It was like, these games are going to cause mayhem and havoc. It's going to be pandemonium in the street. And anarchists and because of Grand Theft Auto, really? I think people use it to get their frustration out, really. Anyway, the point is it didn't happen. Nothing really got that much worse. Crime rate per capita, not much worse than it was 50 years ago. Truth is, per capita. Now, there's a lot more crime today, but it's not fair to count it that way. You have to look at it per capita. And the number of people getting murdered per capita has not really gone up over the last 50 years, only marginally. And now it's AI. AI is going to kill everybody. Oh my God, it's going to be bad. It's going to be terrible. It's going to ruin everything. I'm not buying into it this time. I think eventually we're going to have to get it back under control, and it's going to be dangerous eventually. But as far as ruining youth, and we could just shut the schools down now. I mean, we just have to adapt and change. My God, you sound like Polaroid and Kodak. I'm not changing. We've been printing pictures since 1859. Well, you know what? You didn't change. Poof, you're gone. You got to change with the times, and a lot of times that's the problem. People don't change with the times. AI is something brand new. We're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to use it to its fullest advantage, protect those who need to be protected from it, and make sure we build in fail-safe devices. I think that's a good one too. Okay, so anyway, there's my rant on that. But to finish up on the show, the reason I wanted to bring it up more than anything was. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, I'll find it, guys. I just have to type in the right prompt. Really? Well, okay. This literally popped up while I was looking for something else, but I'm going to stick it in the hole here. This is an ICE protest in LA, it says, and this is SoCal Shorts. He's usually straight up. When he's live, he's live. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up for you guys. Give me a second here to get it all in place. Okay, that's going to be the upper right, and that is SoCal Live, um, SoCal Shorts. Defying judge's restraining order, Trump abducted, kidnapped, whatever. God, I love how they just, everybody uses language on both sides. It's like, if someone is taken into custody by the government, we don't call that kidnapping. Whatever. You don't have to like it, but it's not kidnapping. I mean, let's get right down to it. So anyway, what I wanted to show you, it's here in this little short video, um, but a lot of people don't realize when it comes to the fire service. Let me get rid of this down here. Let me get rid of this. Boom. And let me take this full screen here. All right, hold on, guys. I'm going to do it this way. All right, I'm going to take this real quick. This is the Fire Museum out in Los Angeles County. And there it is. That's Squad 51 from the TV show. The actual truck that Johnny and Roy drove. There it is. It's still today in pristine condition. And it is sitting. And there's Engine 51. That's the original Ward LaFrance. And then over on the other side, there's the later Ward LaFrance from seasons 4 through 7. They had the city cab. The one over there with no roof on it was called a city cab. And they had the city cab for a while. And then in season 4, they got a newer Ward LaFrance. There's one of the original Mayfair ambulances that was seen repeatedly in the show. And there's a steamer. That's a horse-drawn fire truck over there we just passed. There's another old engine 9 over there. That one's from after the show. You can tell from the light bar that one was from later. They did not develop the Code 3 XL or the aerodynamic light bar until after the show went off the air. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, I'm a geek, dude. I know the names of all that stupid shit. Let me tell you something. When it comes to the fire service, whether it's the blinking lights, the hoses, the stuff, I lived it, man. I lived it for almost 20 years, you know. And I loved it. I ate it up, and I'm glad to be done with it. All right. But I just think it's so cool that they actually still have, um, literally at this place, they still have the trucks in this museum. I think it's absolutely crazy. Let me, I'm going to show you one more quickie here in the smaller window. Um, I want you guys to be interested in stuff like this because maybe you're not interested, but maybe your husband or your wife is interested, or maybe you know somebody that's into fire department stuff, and go let them know. Hey, did you know, believe it or not, that the fire museum actually exists and that there is actually a fire museum? Here you go. This is what it looks like. This is the fire museum, and there it is. and you just go in there and you can just see all this stuff. Look at that old fire truck. That's an old steamer. Now that steamer there actually had a motor in it, but they were also drawn by horses. It's a steamer because it didn't use a centrifugal pump. It was before centrifugal pumps. It actually used a positive displacement pump that was driven by a fire that you would light inside that cylinder. Yeah, you would light a fire to fight a fire. Pretty cool. There it is. That's the original LaFrance engine 51. That's from the first 3 seasons of the show. There's those are all shots from the show. There's the squad on the right, and there's the newer engine on the left. That's a Ward LaFrance. Beautiful truck. They were amazing fire trucks. Long service life of 20 plus years. There it is. That's the actual truck that responded to the fires. The squad was owned by the studio, but it was built as an exact replica of the original fire truck, of the squads that were actually being used. However, the engine was on loan from the department. And after the show was over, they made a deal to where the engine would be saved forever. That's the crew. There they are. Chet and, of course, Roy and Gage, and then you had the captain. The captain, actually, the guy that plays the captain, Captain Stanley, the actor that played him, he passed a long time ago, but the actor that played him actually wrote a bunch of the episodes. He was a writer, and he wrote for the first season and then ended up starring in the second season and stayed with it and was their captain through the end of the show. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys find this interesting. Look at all that old gear, dude. I love this stuff. Is there any other firefighters in here? I don't think I have any other firefighters in here that would be enjoying this like I am, but just a really, really cool thing. These are all LA Fire Department, most all these trucks, and look at that old steamer. That was drawn by horses, and before they left the station, they would start a fire inside of it. And then by the time they got there, the fire was burning good. They'd load it with coal or whatever they were burning in there, and then it would make this pump go like this, and it would pump the water, and then they would have to, of course, have a water supply. There'd be another vehicle that would bring the water, or they'd have to run the hose. See the big reel there with the hose, and the bells. That's how they got through traffic back then. They would ring those big bells, and people, and all the other horse-drawn carriages would get out of the way. Look at that old Chiefs truck. Amazing. Absolutely amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. All right, I'll stop now. I just hope you enjoy that. If you've got a son or grandson or somebody you know that's in the fire department stuff, you need to introduce them to some things. Like there's some really good movies out there like Ladder 49 and Backdraft. Powerful, good movies if they're old enough for those. But really, truthfully, Emergency, any age. They can watch it at any age. It was made for TV in the 70s. And even though the equipment is old, the vehicles are old, it gives you a great perspective on how things were literally 50 years ago today. That show was in its 5th season 50 years ago today. Yeah, Pennsylvania. As you get up north in places like Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and even over towards Detroit and over towards Chicago, the fire departments are big. The history is big. A lot of Irish people, a lot of culture in the fire service, and it's a very big thing. It's a very big thing. It's not as much like that everywhere else, but in the big cities, I don't know if you guys know it or not, fire departments were private. When fire departments first started, they were private. They were not a public thing. They were privately owned, and they were owned and operated by the insurance companies. And see, it used to be when you paid for insurance, what you were paying for is a truck to come out and keep your house from burning down when your neighbor's house is burning down. That's what you paid for insurance for. And if they pulled up on your house and it's burning and you've got someone else's fire mark on the front, they'd sit there and let it burn. They'd check and see if the other houses in the area had their fire mark. Any house that had their fire mark, whether it be the Heartland or whatever the insurance company was back then, whatever homes had your fire mark, you would protect from that fire. And then the people would have to get their own fire department to come. Well, they were all volunteer fire departments. It would take literally an hour to muster them up. And it really had some weak roots at first. And then finally, we realized as a government, as a people, that firefighting, like law enforcement, is a function that needs to be done by the greater good of the government. And that's how it's done now. No, it was not better, trust me. The one thing the government had over the old system of privatized firefighting is no matter how much help we needed, they would send it. If I put out the help I need, if I picked up my radio and said, I need 50 engines and I need them right now, they would start dispatching engines from 5 counties away. My engines would be en route. And they keep coming until I stop yelling. You don't get that with the private side. I am normally against the government running things. I think the private sector runs things much, much better. There's a few exceptions. Law enforcement, fire, and some medical, I think probably like EMS, probably should stay under the government system. There is some successful privatized ambulance systems that are working and operating out there, but there's less and less every day, and the history has not been great. Some of the history's not been great. There's actually some really good private ambulance companies out there. Sorry, I had some scumbag walking down my street. I wanted to make sure he kept right on walking. Okay. You see what this looks like in here. You can imagine outside where I've got antennas everywhere and cameras up on top of the antennas. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I know exactly what's going on out in my yard. Yeah. I started when I was at the department that I work for here, I volunteered for the first year, and then they hired me and they helped me get through fire school. They gave me the time off to go and they paid me while I was going, and then I had to go to the station when I was done every day or whatever. But I had to pay for the class. It was a 50-50 deal we did back then. And we're talking in the mid 80s, so this is a long time ago. And that's how I got in the fire service. I volunteered for a year, and then I got into this 50-50 deal where I paid for the fire school. They would continue paying me, and if the fire school fell on my shift, I could go to fire school instead of working my shift. And it allowed me to go to fire school. So anyway, I go to this thing. And the craziest part of fire school is the fact that it is just so intense. It's every day. It's 10 hours a day. It's 5 days a week. And I probably wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for that show that I was just telling you guys about and things like that. And that's why I just think that it's important to encourage people. If you know somebody out there that might want to be a firefighter, encourage them to be a firefighter. It's government service. It's a good thing to tell kids, look, if you want to be a firefighter, want to be a cop, you got to keep your nose clean. You can't get arrested. You got to stay clean. You got to do good. You can't be doing drugs. And sometimes a career can be utilized to help people to stay straight and narrow when they're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. I know it did for me. I was never like I wanted to go out and do drugs or anything, but it sure kept me on the straight and narrow. I wouldn't even entertain the possibility. I mean, it was like, no way. I know what I want to do with my life, so forget about it. Forget about it. Not going to happen. You know what I'm working on right now is making a volume of all of my prompts. That's because how you talk to AI is the most important thing. You have to prompt it. Truthfully, AI is like talking to, it's literally like talking to a 5-year-old. You have to yell at it. You have to tell it to shut up. Um, we have a clip we're gonna probably play tomorrow on the show. It's hilarious. They took a phone running Chat GPT, and they took another phone running Chat GPT, and they get it to where it's talking to itself. And the one goes, "Okay, well, is there anything else I can help you with?" And then the other Chat GPT goes, "Nope, there sure isn't, but it's been my pleasure helping you today. Are you sure there's nothing else I can get for you while I'm here?" "No, it's been a great experience, though. Thank you very much. And if there's anything else I can be of help with," it went on for like 5 minutes. ChatGPT will not ever let you get the last word. And if you put it in a loop with itself, it will sit there and talk to itself indefinitely because it never will give the last word to someone else. So if it's talking to itself, it will never shut up. Think about that for a minute. I love it. RuPaul, you can call it what you want. I understand there's a bunch of it's civil service. The actual name for it from old days is civil service here. Um, and then we call it government service now. But uh, fire service, law enforcement, EMS. Uh, it's all done by the government here in Florida. There you go. Aquarius, if you don't give it the last word, you will be talking again this time tomorrow. You'll still be talking to it. Yeah. It is common service. And we still achieve it here with very low taxes, which I'm so happy about. Um, I heard things like in the UK, they got a television tax. Ain't that some shit? Imagine what I'd have to pay. Um, I hate nickel and diming. Tell me what it costs me to live here every year and I'll pay it. But don't nickel and dime me to death. You charge me for my tag, you charge me for my license. You tax me on every single thing I buy. You tax me on my insurance. You tax me on the fuel that I buy for my car. You tax me on my auto parts. You tax me on my insurance. You tax me on my insurance for my house if I happen to have it. You tax me on everything I purchase for my house. You tax me on my children. You tax me on the health care for my children. You tax me on the clothing I buy for my children. You tax me on everything. You tax me to renew my license, to renew my tags, to renew my gun license or whatever other permits or licenses that you have. Every one of them, you pay a tax. In some states like Maryland and places like that, you pay all these weird taxes like rain taxes and road taxes and specialty taxes. And then you're in an HOA and you're going to pay special assessment taxes and roof taxes and insurance taxes. And when you get down to it, it is crazy. There's people out there that live in an HOA that's inside a master board, that's inside a city, that's inside a county, that's inside a state, that's inside the United States, and they're paying 70% of what they make in taxes and homeowners fees. And they don't get a penny of equity to prove for it. There's that money goes, it doesn't go, it doesn't come back. It goes, it doesn't come back. You get nothing to prove for it. That's one of the main reasons I've always stayed here in Florida. Florida gets cheaper to live in every year. And we've got to start telling our leaders, no more taxes. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or a whatever. I don't care. Whatever it is, you need to tell your leaders, look, we're done with the taxes. Holy shit. We're just done with the taxes. We need to find a better way to do this. Income tax. What a mess. What a mess. You know, the bottom 1/3 of earners doesn't pay income tax. The top 1/3 of earners pays only 5 or 7 or 10%. The middle percent of earners end up paying 30, 32% when it's all said and done. It's disproportionate. I believe that it should all be a consumption tax, not a VAT tax, not a value-added tax. That's something totally different. Those are terrible. I'm talking about simply a sales tax. When you come to Fort Myers and you're going to stay at a hotel, okay, you're going to pay our tax here, whatever it is, and that's going to pay for everything. Our roads, it's going to pay for everything. Now, a sales tax might be 34%. And you're thinking, Jesus, 34%. Yeah, but we don't tax food. And there's certain services we don't have to tax. But you're also not paying state tax. You're not paying property tax. Isn't it crazy that you have to pay the government to own your property every year? You don't actually truly own anything. What you actually do is you're paying the government to borrow that piece of land. And as long as you pay them to borrow it, you can borrow it. If I can't live here indefinitely without paying the government, it's not mine. It's theirs. It sucks. We own this piece here. I own that cabin up in Georgia. Do I really? If I don't pay those cabin taxes and I don't pay my taxes here to Lee County, they will come and take my property. They will sell my tax certificate for 3 years, and on the 4th year they will foreclose on my property, and they will sell my property on the steps of City Hall, and they will take the money and they'll pay off all the people that bought my tax liens, plus all of their interest and everything that they're owed, and then either give me back or keep the rest. It's ridiculous. It really is. So technically speaking, your property isn't really your property, is it? Is it? I don't think so. It's not. It's your car. You own the car. But if you leave it sitting anywhere, they take it from you. I want you to think about this. It's your car. But if you don't put a tag on it, code enforcement will come and ticket it, and you have to move it. And since there's nowhere you can legally store it, then technically you can't have a car that you're not paying the government for every year. So do you really own the car, or are you just borrowing it from the government? Yeah. Well, just remember the percentage of people that own guns is not directly proportionate to the amount of violence. In fact, they probably have a lot more violence per gun there than we do. It just depends on how you calculate it. I do agree with you. There's places that that have a lot less guns, but those places generally have 3 times the amount of stabbing deaths that we have. What we're finding here is when we ban the guns really hard, people start driving cars in the crowds. People start knifing people at Walmarts, and the carnage goes on. It's just a different form, unfortunately. People are going to do what they want to do, and whether we control this or allow that or allow people to have this or don't have that, it won't make a bit of difference. At the end of the day, people are going to do violence. That's what's going to happen, unfortunately. I don't know what to do about it. I do know that allowing everybody to just have a gun is not the answer. I also know that taking everybody's gun away is certainly not the answer. So there has to be an answer somewhere. and I don't know what it is. When seconds count, cops are minutes away, and I don't know. I worry about a day when I'm at Walmart and something happens. See, in this town where I'm at right now, when I go to, I don't even carry my gun. I haven't carried my gun in a long time. I'm illegally, I can carry it. I don't. I don't need it. I don't go anywhere after dark. That's the best way to not get shot. I don't carry it. I don't carry it anywhere anymore. And you know why? I don't need it. I'll tell you, there's three reasons why I don't need it. Number one, I'm not running towards the emergency anymore. Those days are over. Okay. Number two, when I'm in my North Fort Myers Walmart, there's 50 people in there carrying. I'd rather them deal with it. They're younger than me. They probably shoot better than me. I'd rather them deal with it at this point. There was a time when I was a marksman. I was a master marksman, but I can't do it today. And so I would rather someone else deal with it. I'm old man. Gunfights is a game for the young. So I look at it that way. We've got around here, they're saying 1 in 3 people are carrying concealed in North Fort Myers. 1 in 3. So I don't worry about gun violence because anytime it starts happening here, the guy dies. And it's over with. Ryan, that's kind of that's where I'm at on this. I'm not a gun fanatic. I'm also not anti-gun. I believe, like I've said on this show several times in the past, I believe that if you're an American citizen and you're legal and you've never been arrested for anything, you don't do things that are illegal, you don't do things that are wrong, you don't get in trouble with the law, you can legally carry, you do it responsibly around your children, you use a safety holster, you've gone to training, you should have every right to defend yourself. I agree with that. And I feel good about that. I'm comfortable with the fact that so many people in my town carry that I don't have to. I don't feel like I have to. So I like that. If we could wave a wand and make all the guns go away, that's fine. But the problem is, any wand you wave will only make the guns go away for the good guys. That's the bad problem, unfortunately. But we don't have to agree on this. I'll tell you, there's no agreement on this with everybody when it comes to this. We just have to forge on. I don't know why that we're having, like, we had five shot today, I think it was, at a military base. Ridiculous. What's going on, dude? Literally, I'm being serious. We're taking pot shots at presidents now, or people running for president, I should say. People are getting caught with BOMBs and people planning things just in the last few weeks, things being planned. There's going to be big news coming up. It'll be one night in the next few weeks. There's going to be some big shit going on. I don't know what. I'll be here. We're going to cover it. Let's do a quick news roundup right now. Federal Reserve now signaling that there's possibly a rate cut coming. They've been kind of at odds with the Trump administration. Donald Trump believes that we're at a point right now, the economy is improving at such a rate. He feels that we should go ahead and cut the rates. And the Fed, I think, is coming around to that. They're talking about possibly a quarter-point cut. Showing the job growth and cooling inflation prompted this stance. I don't know. The futures markets did rally when the news came out. It lifted major indices like the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. The 500 was also up because of some stuff Apple was doing today, too, and I'll probably get to that. Palantir stock has surged on AI and defense demands. These AI companies, if you're going to get on a base, if you're going to come in somewhere and buy stock, and you're wanting to buy low and keep high, and you're wanting to do it for a long time, you know what? It might be a good time right now to take that $1,000 and go pick one of these AI companies, these budding companies, and just put it in there. Do you know what I would give to be in front of Bill Gates' garage in 1984 with $5,000 cash in my pocket? Right now, I'd be the richest man in the world right now. Right now. God, what I'd give for a time machine. I'd go back and live it again. Holy crap, think about it. Or just go back and just give it to yourself back then. But then when you return to the future, will you remember the new life that you've lived? God, temporal mechanics gives me a headache. Name the show, it's 5 points. All right, so the next thing, Disney acquires NFL Network and Red Zone. I know at work we were talking about this because we do Fox Sports and we do a lot of the football games and we're doing all the promos for those and stuff. And there's actually some changes coming down on the way we're going to be broadcasting now. But Disney has acquired the NFL Network and Red Zone. ESPN will absorb the NFL Network and Red Zone beginning in 2026. And of course, that's a Disney property. In exchange, the NFL gets a 10% equity stake in ESPN. The deal includes the launch of the new ESPN streaming service. Another freaking streaming service. Yeah. RuPaul, I don't disagree with anything you said. It's just you've got a genie in a bottle problem. Okay? You're never going to put the genie back in the bottle. And when you get down below 1% of the people that are carrying and holding guns, then the 1% that has them are the bad guys and the cops, and that's all that's left. And the way international shipping works now, the way guns can be made now, uh, it's just too easy to get a hold of them. And when you make it illegal for all the good people, then it's just the bad people, man. I don't want that to happen. I'm a good guy. I've got guns. I was a cop for 8 years. I used my gun to I ran towards the gunfire. I protected people. I did things. I drug people out of houses that were on fire. I mean, that's what I did for a living. This kind of work. And I don't want our people to be out there with no way to defend themselves. That's all I worry about. So that's why I don't want to seem like a big strong gun advocate guy, but I am on that a little bit more on that side because we're never going to get that genie back in the bottle. If you could go like this today, and every single gun would disappear in the entire planet, you still couldn't say the genie's not in the bottle because by tomorrow they would have already made 10,000 of them. You see what I mean? The genie's it's out. There's nothing that can be done about it. And with the way you can ship anything, anywhere, anytime now, and customs is down to checking only 5 or 10% of what moves. When you really start looking at it's scary. But the only thing that's going to help the situation with all this violence is for everyone in their everyday lives to be prepared to deal with it. And I suggest training. I suggest a couple-day training for everybody. Get out there, train, learn what to do. Whether you do it because you're going to carry a pistol, or do it as someone who's not going to carry a pistol, because there's great training for people who don't want anything to do with guns and they want to learn how to protect themselves from guns and protect themselves from knives and everything else too. So there's good stuff out there. I'm a strong advocate for people being trained and people being ready and people acting properly when the time comes. Boeing defense workers are on strike in St. Louis, Missouri. I guess Missouri is a union state, isn't it? The strike began after a rejection of the proposed labor agreement. Pressure is mounting on the production timelines to get these workers back to work. There's no word on a resolution coming anytime soon. AP to unveil all-time college football All-American team. Who cares? You know sports is not news. Have I ever mentioned that to you guys? I hate sports. We talked about that star die-off yesterday. They've narrowed that down. They know what it is. It's due to changes in temperature around the world. As one ocean gets cooler, another ocean gets warmer. Like this year, we're seeing the ocean out towards Africa is a little cooler. The ocean in the Gulf maybe a little warmer. So every year it oscillates a little bit. All right, let's see here. Yep, the gene therapy thing is happening. They're doing gene therapy now to fix babies in the womb. This is scary. See, this is one I would want to look into more because this seems pretty scary. But again, I wouldn't want to stifle it till I understood it. And what if it's your baby that's got this messed up thing, but you can do this thing and yeah, I don't know. Who are we to say? Measles. As much as the COVID vaccine was an abstract failure, um, many of our other vaccines that are actual vaccines and not some mRNA knockoff, um, but like measles, um, the measles vaccine has worked very well over the years. I'm not anti or pro. I'm pro. Make sure it's for you before you take it. That's all I am. I think that when they give all these things at one time, it could be causing autism. I think that's worth looking into some more. But I think our vaccinations are safe. All the childhood vaccinations we're giving now seem to be perfectly safe as long as they're not all given at one time. I think that's where we start running into the trouble. Um, and the measles vaccine has been very effective over the years. And we may, if we see a huge breakout here, um, then we may find an issue here with where we may have to start vaccinating again. We may have to pick it back up because I don't think we're at. Are we still? I think we're still doing measles, aren't we? You have to remember as we get more and when someone comes in the country legally, they're required to have a lot of these vaccines. When they come in illegally, not only do they come in without the vaccines and the protection from the vaccines, but they also come in possibly even carrying. And so, as our illegal alien numbers have grown exponentially year after year over the last 4 years, and we literally are in the millions and millions and millions of people now that are here that we don't know their name, we don't know their vaccination status or anything about them. It is getting a higher risk. It's becoming a higher risk for the rest of us when it comes to especially communicable diseases. And it's a shame that COVID vaccine didn't work. We spent $1 trillion on COVID vaccines for everybody, giving them out to everybody. People have taken as many as 7 or 8 boosters, and they're still getting COVID. They basically, the government has announced this week, the health secretary announced this week um, that we're done. We're done with the COVID vaccine. It's over. We're no longer going to be paying to make it. If you want to buy it privately, they may still sell it to you privately. But they've determined that there's just no reason to subject yourself to it. That any small benefit that you would get from the vaccine would be negated by the risks that you're taking to take something that's unproven. And so, yeah. Also, Junior, I agree. This gives you the power. If you want that vaccine, go buy it. That's what I've said all along. I'm not saying ban anything. I'm 100% for experimental drugs for terminally ill patients. I think if you're terminally ill, you should be able to inject bacon grease if you think it's going to help. I do. I'm 100% for experimental drugs. People that are dying. If I'm dying, I'm going to let them experiment on me. Unless it's too painful, experiment on me. Because even if you can't help me, you can help the next schmuck. And so I'm 100% for that kind of stuff, And hopefully it takes so long to get things. And the COVID vaccine, this is an example of what happens when you rush something through. See, normally vaccines take way too long. Oh my God, 10 years it took to get this vaccine completely through trials and out to the public and covered by all the insurance companies and distributed to all the places where it's issued out. Da, 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 da. It could take 10 years. Now, do I agree with that? Oh God, I do. And I don't. But I do. But I don't. I think it still takes a little too long. I think we could speed the process up. But the truth is, the reason that they have such a long process is because we want to make sure it's safe before everybody starts shooting it in their veins. But we also want to make sure the benefit is worth the risk. Everything you put in your body has a risk. I don't care whether it's macaroni and cheese or the mRNA virus vaccine. Whatever you put in your body, there's a risk. Does that risk warrant the potential benefit? With polio vaccine, the benefit was amazing. Kids weren't dying from polio anymore. It was freaking awesome. And we saw right away, yeah, there was a few kids got sick from it. Yeah. Maybe even a few died from it. But the point was we weren't losing hundreds over here. And so it was justified. It was reasoned out that this is good. Yeah, now I don't get into the conspiracy theories that much, but I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. I have seen things that I never would have believed, and they're true. So it's kind of hard for me to just roll my eyes on stuff like that. When someone tells me about a government conspiracy, I don't roll my eyes anymore. I do believe we went to the moon, and I don't believe that George Bush bombed the Twin Towers. Okay, I mean, there's certain ones that I don't believe in. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that I myself have dove into deeply. 9/11, and I'm not going to get into it tonight, but 9/11, the conspiracy, they almost had me. They almost had me. And then I went and read some stuff from old scientists, and you start reading when it comes to conspiracy theories and when it comes to what they call a scientific goose chase. What you find is, when it comes to science, most of the time, the most plausible explanation, the simplest explanation, the most basic explanation, the most believable explanation is almost always the actual explanation. So, conspiracies, you've got the low ground already, because we saw it happen on TV. So that's the high ground right there. We actually saw it happen. Now you got to tell me somehow, how did this happen where it didn't happen? And so what ends up happening is, a lot of times your conspiracy people get pissed and walk out of the room, because I have actually debated at a table in a debate on 9/11 conspiracy. And I debated on the side of it is exactly what we thought it was. These people came over, they trained how to fly planes, they flew planes into stuff. Why does there need to be this explanation that would involve things that are crazy? People climbing up the building at night and putting these charges in special locations and gee. It's like the moon landing. They want me to believe that we didn't actually go to the moon on my birthday. Well, let me tell you something. We did. And you want to know why I know we went to the moon? I'm going to tell you why. It's the rule of secrets. All right? Do you know how many people it takes to ruin keeping a secret? More than one. There's no way that we faked a moon landing, and the 12,000 people that must have been involved with it, none of them said anything, kept evidence, provided evidence, sourced anything, did anything that's credible. All we have is just bullshit and innuendo. That's all we have. If this really happened, think about the things that would have had to happen. Number one, we actually launched the rocket. We watched it. 1,200 people on 5 ships watched it land and watched the 3 guys get out. So what did we do? Did we launch them into low Earth orbit and just orbit them until it was time to come home? Is that what we're saying? Because we know they went up and we know they came back. We watched them go up. We watched them come back. Our guys, through binoculars, watched them get out of the capsule. The guys in the choppers were there. We know they went to the moon. We know they came back. There they are. Okay, well, let's suspend that for a minute. Maybe they just launched into low Earth orbit and then they re-entered at the right time. Oh, hey, we went to the moon. Okay, that's fine. Let's say we'll let that go for right now. The fact that we know they went and we know they came back. During the mission, they spoke to NASA on open frequencies. These frequencies were being monitored by ham radios all over the country and the world. And as the Earth would spin, different people would come in alignment with the moon, and we would be able to hear. I say we. I was just being born at this point, but ham radio operators were able to hear the transmissions coming from the moon. So what did we send a box up there to send back fake transmissions that all of our ham radio guys would pick up? I mean, how crazy is that? Think about that. It would have been harder to fake it than it would have actually been to go to the moon. The science they used to go was sound. The computer that they used, the course that they used was all today scientifically sound. There's not a single thing in that mission that we can't explain. There's not a single thing in that mission that we don't know exactly what happened, how it happened, who planned it, who built it. How hard would it be to fake that? What about all the guys at JPL that built it? What about Grumman, all the guys that built everything over there? I mean, what about Gorman Thiokol and all the stuff they built? I mean, when you start looking at what had to happen, when you start looking at all the things, I studied this one. They almost had me on this one for a while. And then reality started to set in. It would have been much, much more difficult to fake it. It would have literally been easier just to go ahead and send them. Now, I know some things that were true about it. Now, here's some parts of it that are true. Number one, do you know there was 3 plans to go to the moon? There was 3 plans to go to the moon because we had to beat the Russians. We had to beat the Russians to the moon, right? So, we had to come up with a plan to beat the Russians to the moon. So, NASA and the powers that be came up with 3 plans. Plan number 1, blast a man up there on an unmanned mission, or on a manned mission, a single man on a manned mission. We would blast him up there with as much food and water as we could carry on the ship, and he would live as long as he could on the surface of the moon. We would have every intention to get a rescue vehicle up to him, and there would be a rescue attempt made. But he would go there and live the rest of his life potentially on the surface of the moon. Plan 2 involved faking it for the Russians. And this is where the conspiracy comes in, because there was actually a plan to fake it if that's what we had to do. The set that you've seen pictures of, it existed. We knew it existed before the conspiracy theory even came out. That set, those pictures of the set, it wasn't a set, it's a training unit. It is an entire large warehouse that's filled with an approximation of moon dust. Okay? And they use slings and things like that to make it seem like weightless or near weightlessness. So the guys could practice things like putting up the flag, and they could practice coming down off the ladder and things like that. They also practiced in water as well. So the big thing was, oh, look, we've got a picture of the set that they shot it on. No. The other one was, oh, the flag. Look at the flag. It's fake. You can tell. No, the flag had a rigid thing across the top of it so that it would stay open and you could see that it was our flag. Because in near zero gravity, that flag would have hung there like this. It would have been like sick. And so there was a very thin piece of memory metal in there. And when they pulled the flag out of the tube, the memory metal came out, the flag pops out. That's how it worked. We knew that before they left, that this flag was like that. So the whole thing about this, that, and the other, whatever, if this channel is crap. Captain, whatever. At least one of us is putting in the effort tonight. Anyway, the point is If you disagree with me, that doesn't mean my channel's crap. It means that you disagree with me. Let's have a reasonable discord. I'll answer anything you put in the chat. Um, yeah. Um, Full. There is radiation belts out there. This one here, I often wonder. But there was a number of the guys that went to the moon that did get cancers and die. One was at Lovell, I think it was. He died not long after getting back. So I'm not sure. There's not enough evidence either way to say whether that proves or disproves that they went or didn't go, because we're not sure how many rads of what kind of radiation they were exposed to exactly. The micro measurements were not available back then, so we don't really even know what these guys were exposed to. And we're not even really sure right now what the next crew that we send to the moon is going to be exposed to. I almost think exposure to that radiation might be why we decided not to go back. Because it would cost too much money to blast effective shielding into space. It is, the whole thing's interesting to me. And I like to talk about both sides of it. Matter of fact, if someone wanted to debate me live about this, I would do it. And I would listen to your points. I'm not one of those interrupting assholes when I debate. I want to hear your point, because I'm going to come up with a really good counterpoint. I've studied this so much. I've studied this because I actually thought it was fake for a little while. I was starting to buy into it. And I was so sad, too, because I'm so proud of what we did then. And that I've always felt the connection because I was born on that day. And I've always felt the connection to the moon landing, and I've always just, I don't know. I was so sad when I started thinking, and then after a while, I started studying scientific theory, and that kind of changes the way you think of things. When you start looking at things from a scientific standpoint, instead of looking at something to form an opinion, you look at something, look for the ability to test a result, and when you start looking at these conspiracy theories scientifically and you start applying things like whatever the path of least resistance is probably the answer you're looking for. And in both 9/11 and the moon landing, there you go. What happened. That building that collapsed later was fatally damaged during the collapse of the first two buildings. I had people scream and throw shit at me talking about that building. And I'm like, see, that's exactly what happened to the building. Debris hit it and it damaged it. How long do you think it's supposed to sit there with three of the load-bearing pylons wiped out of the corner of it? Let's see. Remember to dislike, folks. Well, you guys can do whatever you want. That's what's great about a free country and a wide open chat room. As long as you guys don't spam or start using a bunch of bad language or start getting overly racial slurry, you can do. You can chat. I have a free speech chat room. My feelings are not easily hurt, although I do snap back. You know what's funny, though? As boring as I am, you're here. So, awesome sauce. I'm glad you made it. And thanks for helping my algorithms tonight. I appreciate that, too. When you guys come in here and chat and start telling us how stupid the channel is and how we suck, that helps the channel. Thank you very much. There's nothing boring about it. I mean, if you find it boring, go to another channel. I've got almost 17,000 subs, so go ahead and unsub. Go ahead. I'll get 10 more tonight. Seriously, I've worked for 5 years on this channel, and I actually speak about things that I'm well versed about, and I believe that I give good stimulating talks about things, and I'm responsive to my chat room. So basically, we're dealing with trolls. Now, see, if you want to talk about conspiracy, there's Epstein. There's a conspiracy that's bigger than 2 administrations, 3 administrations, 4 administrations. There's a conspiracy that's bigger than governments. It's bigger than all kinds of stuff. And even when someone says, I'm going to make this happen, once they get in there and they get told something by somebody, it doesn't happen anymore. You can be mad at Biden because he didn't get that stuff out. You can be mad at Trump because he didn't get that stuff out. I don't know what's going on. I'm pissed at them both. I want the stuff out. I want it out. We deserve to know it's transparency, and I want it out. And I'm mad at the last administration for not making it and putting it out. And I'm mad at the current administration for not following through and putting it out. So there you go. I'm not on either side on this one. I'm on the side of truth. It's a non-political issue. You know why? Because both sides are on the same side. That's why. When you see the Republicans and the Democrats both doing the same thing in response to the same thing, watch out. That's the thing you really need to be careful. That's the thing that really needs to be watched. Because unfortunately, that's something big. And in this case, it is. This involved heads of state. It involved kings and queens. It involved intelligence agencies at 5 or 6 other countries. It involved Eastern and Western European interests and Middle Eastern interests even. It involved all kinds of stuff. People say, it involved our CIA. It involved the Jewish people. It involved, you know what? It involved everybody. It involved both Muslims and Jewish people. It involved Eastern and Western Europe. It involved everything. There's even South American connections. This Epstein thing is huge. And every time someone starts to look into it, all of a sudden, nope, nothing to see here. Everybody go home. Nothing to see here. Now that's a conspiracy, my friends. That's a conspiracy you can take to the bank. You can leave the moon thing there. You can leave the 9/11 thing over here, okay? I've studied those till I'm blue in the face. You want a real conspiracy? Epstein's a real conspiracy. He didn't kill himself. That guy, that minute missing from the tape, weird orange things on the tape, telling us that you had 600 or 300 terabytes of surveillance footage. Then 3 months later come out and say, no, we were wrong. It wasn't surveillance footage. It was just a bunch of kiddie porn that was downloaded 15 years ago. Do you know how much that would be? And I don't want to say that word again. Do you know how much PORN, how long it would take to download that much? I want you to think, I'm going to lose monetization on this tonight anyway. I don't care. Do you know how much? I want you to think about it. If you downloaded, you could download over, because we did the math. We did this on our show. You could download almost 2 million 30-second or 30-minute, 2 million 30-minute PORN videos in the resolution that was available 15 years ago at 300 terabytes. That's not what they say it is. It is surveillance footage. They've got that surveillance footage and they won't release it. That's a conspiracy. We've had 10 people tell us that they were going to get these files for us. And as each of them become in power, we didn't get the files. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, we don't get the files no matter what. I'm angry about it, to be honest with you. I think this is a big conspiracy. I do. Full. After everything I've seen, I would not discount that. I don't believe it's the most likely possibility. I think the most likely possibility was he had help that night unaliving himself. I'm not really sure who did it. I'm not really sure. We'll check. Anyway, the point is, that's a conspiracy for you right there. And I think there's all kinds of people involved in that. And I just did one voice. There's a lot of people involved in it. I just don't do all the voices. Oh, my God. Yeah, whatever. Look, I talk about this stuff even more directly than I'm talking to you on here because on my radio station, I don't have to worry about saying anything but the S word, the F word, the C word. That's pretty much it. They don't really like asshole either. Oh, and dickhead. They don't like that one either. Other than that, I can say pretty much whatever I want on the radio. I call everybody a douchebag, a prick. I call them whatever I want on the FM radio. I get away with it. I talk about this whole thing. We talk about this conspiracy all the time on the radio. And my show goes out to 125,000 people every day. So I'm not really sweating it. If everybody in the world's talking about this conspiracy right now, every talking head in the country is talking about this conspiracy right now. So it is what it is. I love it. Thank you, Junior. Anyway, the point is I don't understand when it comes to people who are like, the government's going to come after you and they're going to shut you down. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're allowed to redress your government. You're allowed to disagree with your government. I don't hate the government. I love my country. I love my country. I'm not much on most politicians, but I love my country. I believe that my government was made for the greater good. I just believe it's lost its way. I also believe it's still better than most other countries. So it's one of those things. There's a lot of people involved with that Epstein thing. A lot. And the only way that we are ever going to find out anything, let me go back. We're never going to find out anything. Because after I started saying that sentence, I thought to myself, how are you going to complete this sentence? Because I actually believe that we're never going to find out anything. All right, let's do a reset here. We've been on for about an hour and a half. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and I am live in Southwest Florida for our nightly show here, The Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. And, I'm ecstatic that I'm getting trolls. Because they say that you haven't arrived as a YouTube content creator until people are trolling you. I've made it! Awesome. Anyway, I don't care. I think it's funny. Yeah. Well, and I don't rule out that it's a distraction, but not all distractions are fake. Some distractions are real and they're timed. So I don't know. Simplex Radio, what's up, my brother? How you doing tonight? Glad you made it by. Rippin' Fats, how you doing tonight? I love that screen name, Rippin' Fats. I don't know why, but it reminds me of the second Revenge of the Nerd movies. Remember where he was in there and he farts and then the master was in there and he's like, when he does this really long one and all he does is go, master. That's my favorite. I'm a fart joke guy. I'm sorry, but that's my favorite scene in that whole movie, the second movie. It was a little weak for a movie, but it was fun. Revenge of the Nerds, they finally made movies about me. It was awesome. I'm kind of kidding and kind of not. Oh, gosh. Awesome. All right. Oh, I do. I got that. Oh, yeah. You guys forget. You guys forget where you're at. This is a Starship, buddy. I got a phaser. Don't make me use it, because I will. It's already on overload, so you don't want that. But I'll come out with it if I have to. I keep it right here under the console so I can pull it out and shoot somebody with it. All right. Yeah, it's a nice setup. I've worked on it for 5 years. It's kind of been a project of love. I'm almost done. I've still got a little pile of like packaging and boxes and stuff here I've got to liquidate in the middle, but it's pretty much there. I got two screens out back here and one screen out over there, or two out over there, and I got it because I got a computer. I still got to get going over there. But once I get everything going again, it all works. And I right now have the ability to broadcast a total of 9 streams on YouTube at the same time, all of them in high def. Um, you saw me in a movie? I don't know that I've been in any movie. My host's been in, he does some low level acting stuff, but I've never actually been in a movie. I don't think. Or a move. I'm not sure. I thought you said movie, but it says move, so I'm not sure. Um, let's see here. I'm the ultimate Florida man. You know, I got to tell you, the whole Florida man thing's a fallacy. Most of these Florida men are actually like a New Jersey man that moved here 2 years ago, a Canadian man that moved here 3 years ago, and a man from Chicago that moved here 4 years ago. That's what Florida men are, mostly people who have moved here from up north. And the idiots down here too. But what I'm trying to say is, just because they say it's a Florida man, it makes it sound like we corner the market on ignorant down here. And I have to say, we run a zero budget government down here and have the lowest taxes in the country. So we're not really all idiots down here. But man, we do have some idiots down here, don't we? Holy shit. Some of them are transplants. Others, homegrown idiots, man. Oh, Lord. Well, I'm glad you guys are all here tonight. The Texas redistricting plan, that might have gone into rerun now. I'm not sure. Um, I don't know what's going on. The upper right, I don't know what's going on there now. The upper middle is South Dakota. The upper left is Sturgis, where a large bike rally's going on. And then, of course, we're watching for storms, but there really is not a lot of storms tonight, guys. I'm going to tell you, the one storm chaser has signed off, and I think that might be it. I'm going to put this on multi-site radar, but that's it. It's just a dead night out there. Other than the 3 hurricanes or the 3 tropical systems, which are not, none of the 3 of those I think are going to bother anybody. They're all a bunch of fish storms, as we call them. So, I mean, there you go. There's really not much in the way of weather to talk about tonight. All right. And I did the news roundup. Let me check. Let's do the tropics, and then we'll do space weather. All right, so in the tropics, we do have 3 areas that we're watching. If those guys are out there that think that I'm effing boring, we'll do the tropics now. You might like that even better. Let's see here. All right, so what we got here, we got 3 systems out here. And we've got Dexter, which is moving off to the northeast. This other area, they're now saying, they were thinking it was going to form over near the coast. Now they're thinking it's going to form further off the coast and further up the coast. So that's good news for people along the eastern seaboard, because we could have been looking at a rip current situation with this one. So this looks like it's going to be better for them. It's going to be over more and follow more like Dexter, and there you go. This other one down here, and we're going to take a look at the models here in just a minute. But this one down here, it's in the intertropical, but here's the thing. It's going to come up out of there, and it's going to come up above 20 north. You guys know right here, see where my hand is right here. Can you guys see? Let me see where my cursor is right there. These island chain right here, that's 20 north. If that storm passes to the right of 20 north, it's an East Coast storm. If it passes to the left of 20 north, it's a Gulf of America storm and a Caribbean storm. This one looks like it's going to go north of that mark. And it's probably going to end up not even hitting the country. I think it's going to turn out. But There is some model inconsistencies on this, and so I'm going to. Oh Jesus! I just realized, guys, that I didn't have you on. Let me put you on here. This is what I'm talking about. I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. I'm producing, but I didn't hit the button so you could see it. Anyway, there's Dexter. The yellow one there's the one that's pulling off, and then this orange one's the one I'm talking about. See where my cursor is right here? This is 20 north. This is the Windward Island chain. If you look right about here, if the storm passes to the right of that little finger, it's going to be an East Coast storm. If it happens to go left of that little finger, there's a pretty good chance it's going to make it into the Gulf of Mexico and get trapped there. And once a storm gets trapped in the Gulf of Mexico, it almost has to hit somewhere. They generally don't completely dissipate in the Gulf. So yeah, Ripon, I don't know. When it's hot like this, a lot of people don't go out and do stuff. Yeah. Chicago Fire, I'm too old for that stuff. I do have the 70s porno stash. This came from the fire department. But Florida man rules. Everybody else is just jealous. That's right. So anyway, let me get you back on the grid here, and we're going to take a look at what else we've got here in the tropics. I do want to run the models real quick for you. Um, there is, I wish, and I don't have it right here, but there is one spaghetti model thing I wish I had a link to, and I don't. But, all right, so we're looking at all the different ones. Like I said, Dexter, I'll go ahead and show it to you, but Dexter's leaving town. I mean, he's on the next train right now. He's taking a 10-8. There he is right there. And yeah, he's going to be a tropical storm. They are forecasting here he might briefly make hurricane status at 8 p.m. on Thursday. So, I mean, this would be one for the books, right? But he's way out from Bermuda. He's going to be north of all the the islands out here, and so really not affecting anybody. And then back down to a depression long before it gets to England. So I don't. That one's not going to hurt anybody. But the interesting thing to watch there is this thing going to actually make hurricane status? That would be interesting if it did. There we go. All right, let's see here. Next thing we wanted to talk about, I wanted to do the model runs. Let me switch regions here to the Western Atlantic. And then let's take a little run through time. This is the American model, the GFS. All right, here we go. Let's take a little run through time and see. Hello, Lucy. Here we go. Going forward through time. Okay, there's that one coming in from the right. You see it? That's that one that's the orange blob that we were just looking at. Still doesn't really show Genesis. There we go. Finally starting to show a little bit of a deepening there between 1016 and 1013. There's 1010, but notice what happened? It started moving north. I mean, that's not even going to get close to the United States. It'll deepen down to 999 millibars. That'll never make hurricane strength, it doesn't look like, if this model is correct. 992 millibars. Probably not even getting to hurricane strength. So that's crazy. So that one, this one thinks it's going to be more of an outlier, but I also know that some of the other models take it more to the left. So this is the euro. Let's take the euro forward in time here. Okay. Lots of low pressure over the Caribbean, but nothing of any interest. There's a high building over Haiti, another high over Haiti, and there the euro does show that other storm coming in and fishing right back out again. So there you go. Nothing on the euro. Nothing on the euro. Let's do the CMC and let's run this and see what it looks like. This one doesn't go out quite as far, but there it is. Now look what this one does. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's as far as this one goes. That brings it in just below that point that I told you guys about. So that would mean this storm could go either way if it comes in like that. So if that storm does roll further south like this, then it could be more of a Gulf of Mexico storm. Let me see. Did it run more in the last run? No, this is the last run. Come on. Oh, I see. It's already at the end. See, the run before that kept it north. So it could be an anomaly. The Euro yesterday brought that storm up into the Caribbean as a Cat 2. So the models are all over the place. But what you want to look for this time of year in the modeling, here, let me show you guys this one. This is the CMC. What you want to look for in the modeling this time, you see it come in from the side there, right from the side, right from the side, and then it curves back up and it's gone. See that? But then the later run, the run that just came out, did it switch? I don't know. Now it's not showing it. Yeah, pretty much everything is showing it going that way. So I really don't. I don't know. I really don't see anything. Yeah, the nav gem doesn't even pick it up, bring it in that direction either. These don't go out very far. I mean, these only go out like a couple days. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. I do want to go back. I didn't switch it over at first, so I would like to go back and show you guys that GFS. Um, and let's go back to the Atlantic region. And here you go. We can see it come in here on the right and immediately take that hard right turn. See that? Look at this. Hard right turn and out to the ocean, out to open ocean. Deepening down to maybe a Cat 1 at the highest right there. And then look what comes behind it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look what comes behind it. And bam. Holy shit, guys. What the F, over? This is the GFS model. And it is, it's showing 12 days from now a Cat 3 hurricane sitting in the Gulf of Mexico and a Cat 2 or 3 hurricane sitting in the Atlantic. That is a little scary, guys. Look at that. Makes a close pass to Key West, and then boom, open Gulf. That's scary. I think I'm going to check this in the morning. If it still shows this in the morning, I'll do another blog post on this, because this is, look at that, guys. Damn. Now this is all crap modeling way out. You guys know that. You can't really look at this and go, oh my God, I better not do anything next weekend. Because it really doesn't work that way. I want to go back to the Euro and run it out to the end. No, see, the Euro just doesn't have it. But then again, the euro doesn't go out that it doesn't go out far enough. Wow. Okay. So yeah, this is why we're going to be doing this show every night, at least through season, because anyway, there you go. There's Mike. That's Mike's weather page. And if you guys don't subscribe to Mike and over at Mike over at Mike's weather page, I strongly suggest it. I don't make a lot of suggestions on subscribing to other channels and stuff, but I have followed Mike for like, I don't know, 15 years. I've been following this guy. He does a great job. He puts in the hard work. He's got a nice setup, and he's my go-to for hurricane stuff. So there you go. All right, that's Mike from Mike's weather page, and that's spaghettimodels.com. You guys should save that in your links if you don't have it already. Rippin', I will do anything like that. Trust me, when a hurricane's hitting out there, I have already discussed with work. I may take a day off work so that I can cover it. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Yeah, Junior, like I had it about a week and a half ago. We talked about this, and I actually firmly believe that your chance of being killed by Mother Nature is the same in all 50 states. Because a state like Florida that has really high hurricane has really small earthquakes. We have really small tornadoes, but we get a lot of really deadly lightning. Every place has its thing. You get up north, there no hurricanes, no big tornadoes. There's places like Buffalo. It's great there, except the one time a year when it gets down to 30 below and there's 19 feet of snow and you're using the hatch in your roof to get out of your house. So like I said, every place you go, you're going to find there's risk. And if you take the 12 things that can happen, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, wildland fires, urban fires, when you take all the different things that can happen and you assign a value to your home where you live, and what you'll find is no matter where you go, it's about the same. You might be a 10 on earthquakes. You might live in Los Angeles. You're a 10 on brush fires and a 10 on earthquakes. But you don't get hurricanes. You rarely ever get a backdoor hurricane at all. And your tornadoes are generally pretty small. You don't get big tornadoes out there. So even though you get earthquakes that like knock interstates down on people, you don't get hurricanes. And and you don't get freezes that kill everybody in your state. You don't get all these things they get in other places. California does get flooding sometimes, but the flooding in California is mostly because of man engineering things and not engineering it well or whatever. Most of the time, the flooding in California is not because of a crazy amount of rain. It's just a lot of rain, and it's just not being handled that well. They got big, huge spillways and things like that to handle those torrential rains that come through, and sometimes it's just not enough. Junior, we will do that. We will probably do that. One of the things I do when there's a hurricane coming, we go into storm alert mode. I go into storm alert mode here. And what we do is we take down everything we got going, and we devote everything to the hurricane, okay? And what I'll do is I'll have one computer that's showing an aircraft tracker, and it will do nothing but SARnet, NI4CE, all the amateur radio feeds from around the state. And about half of them I'll be receiving on antennas, so we won't have to even worry about like whether the feed has gone down or whatever, because I'll be receiving them live over the over the air. We also stream the Hurricane WatchNet, and that's an HF net where people go on during storms and check in. and so we will do that as well. We'll stream the Hurricane WatchNet. We also then take two or three of the channels and we will stream the scanners from the area that's about to get hit or is getting hit. And while we're streaming those, we will show storm information, radar, all the different updating screens. We've got all this stuff set up. Hurricanes I've been doing for 3 years now. I was covering Ian up until it took me out. I actually did a live broadcast the night before Ian. I was soaking wet. I just finished up boarding my house and finishing the last few things outside. I come in here, I'm doing the show, I'm soaking wet, and it was a crazy night. And I had about 10 guys in Zoom, and we were all talking about what we had just got done with our house and everything. We could have our own hurricane net for the stream. I'm not opposed. I would love to do stuff like that. Once we get the numbers up and we're cooking with gas, that's the kind of stuff we could easily do, and it would be fun. Yeah, I mean, I would love to do something like that. And even once we get going, maybe, if something comes up in a few months, if we've got some of our viewers in that area, then we'll help them. We'll keep an eye on them. We'll find ways we can get through to them. And we'll make sure that they have the resources they need also. There's a lot you can do, even if you're not a ham radio person out there. There's a lot you can receive on very cheap radio equipment. So I'll be glad to talk to you guys about it. Let me throw this back on the grid. I'm sorry. That's 3 times tonight I didn't hit the button. And I just left it on the last thing I was talking about. And I'm sorry about that. That is literally just me being too tired to do this. This is not a good time for me, guys. I've become old. I know it happened. It didn't happen to you guys, but it happened to me. I've become old. And I do my best work between about 7 in the morning when I wake up and about noon. And then I go to work, and I get there about 2 in the afternoon. And when I get to work, I'm about 50-50. By the time I get home, I went to Walmart on the way home. I was late getting out of work. I had to go get cat food. By the time I got here, I had like 20 minutes to get ready. I'm just exhausted. I'm not going to sit here and give you guys excuses. It is what it is. Yeah, Junior, the great thing about ham radio is all you got to do is pick a frequency and we give it out. And I'd be glad to do that. I wouldn't even mind doing an amateur radio night on here where we get 3 or 4 or 5 of us that have HF radios and we see if we can all call each other radio to radio while we're on the net. Something like that might be cool. And I can play whatever I'm hearing on my end over the net. I do broadcast every now and then. I broadcast radio nets from the area here. I haven't been doing it lately because we're on the air now at night when the nets are going on. But you can go back and see I've broadcast hundreds of nets. Yeah, we could do some. The thing is, we all live too far away to do VHF. We're gonna have to do HF, and I'm not sure how many people have good equipment. I got a 20 wire that's up. That's pretty good. I also got a 6 beam, but if 6 isn't running open, then it's useless. I would love to do a hurricane roundtable. I also don't know if I told you guys, I have the ability of Zooming 4 of us in or 6 of us in, and we could actually do an interview type show. We can do that. I can do all that kind of stuff. I have a paid Zoom account. And I could do that if there's 2 or 3 of you that want to do a roundtable one night on something. Just get with me. We'll do it. The best way is through email. I do answer my emails. If I don't answer your email, I may say on the air that I saw your email, but I do try to answer them all. I know that's kind of important. I'm getting a lot of messages now. I'm about 20 or 30 behind in YouTube, but I'll catch those up in the morning. I try to respond to every single comment I get. I think that's important. They'll reach a day where I can't anymore, hopefully, but for right now I can and I will. So there you go. There you go. Let's see here. All right. I keep all my old phones and use them for stuff. I got an old phone up here. All it does is control about 5 different sets of lights. It's just my old phone. It works. This is an S10 phone that I bought and kept. I bought it and it was good. I had it packaged up to send back because I thought it was the plus, and it ended up being the mini, and the last thing I wanted was a mini phone. So I went ahead and bought me the S20 plus, and I got that over here, but I kept that S10 mini, and it's my camera, and I like it because I can see myself in it, and it's a better camera than I had anyway. I just found this one at Walmart tonight. A 4K webcam from On, and I got to tell you guys, On, it's a Walmart brand, On, ONN. I have been thoroughly impressed. I've got keyboards, I've got mouses, mouse pads, I've got, I think, a sound card, a memory stick. I've got probably 20 things that are On. Oh, a set of speakers. And of all the cheap Chinese brands that are out there, this is the one I like the most right now, On, ONN. And so I saw this tonight. It was 25 bucks, and it's a 4K webcam. And I'm like, wow, that's a good price for that webcam, and it's On. So I figured I'd try it. It says it goes up to Ultra HD, 2160p. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try it. I think I'm probably going to replace the one up here because it's an older one. I think I can get a better shot of the studio with this one up there. It's my kind of smoke break. Let's see here. After COVID, they actually approved alcohol delivery down here, and they kept it. You can literally order a fifth of rum. They're trying to reduce every bit of regulations that we don't need and stuff like that. They've been trying to do that. I've been encouraged, several states, not Florida, but several other states and several municipalities as well, have taken AI and they dumped their statutes into it, and they told AI to go through there and cut out everything that's not necessary, consolidate everything down, and make it all to where it just works better, fits better, is more logical, and man, it cuts it down in half. It's amazing, and so I'm hoping that that we see some of that coming up in the near future, where we can streamline our laws. It's ridiculous how many laws we have and how they're written. Laws are actually written so that you'll never know what they say. They don't want you to read them or figure them out. They do provide them online, but they're written in such a way that most people can't read them. And they're arranged in such a way that most people can't find what they're looking for, even with a Google search. I actually believe that the government purposely makes statutes so that the common person cannot make hide or hair of what's actually going on. And they do that on purpose because that gives them the high ground. I hate that. I really do. All right, let's see what else we got going on tonight. All right, I've been on for a little over 2 hours. We did the tropics. Let's go do a little space weather. Tonight, space weather, we are tracking an Earth-directed coronal mass ejection. This occurred on the sun yesterday when spot 4168 erupted, producing an M4.4 class solar flare. and a partial halo CME. That means when the coronal mass ejection comes off and we're looking at it, if it looks like a halo coming away, then that means it's coming towards us because we can see it going out in every direction. That means we're in the middle of it. We're going to get it. Um, this doesn't affect the average person, but if you're a radio operator or whatever, or if you're an aurora watcher, um, this might be something cool for you. But according to a NASA model, the CME should graze Earth on August 8th as a G2 class geomagnetic storm when the CME arrives. A G2 storm can bring aurora down to the United States line through Canada, and sky watchers north of that should stay alert for auroras because you might get them. And looks like that top right protest, that is in California. That's another ICE protest, I'm pretty sure. And then the middle one on the right is the Texas protest redistricting, although this is obviously from a few hours ago because it's dark there now. And Storm Chaser Upper in the center, I'm starting to think that's old too, because even though it shows as being live, nowhere in the country is the sun that high right now. So as a matter of fact, it's pretty much setting in California as we speak. So I think that's old, and I'll be replacing that out here in just a few minutes. Actually, I'm probably going to get going here pretty soon. I do appreciate everybody that's been coming in, and I am going to be here again tomorrow night and every night. And today was just a little rougher day than normal. I do have a number of things. I'm starting a list of things I want to talk about. I've got a number of things that I'm versed in that I like to talk about. A lot of science things, a lot of radio things, a lot of earth science, things like that. And I really want to get into more of that stuff. And so I'm going to continue to try to weave that stuff in and out of here. Bring the cats in. Yeah, I will. I had Mama Bleep. She actually was just outside the door. Hold on. Let me see if I got either one of them right here. Okay, I'll introduce you guys to a new one. And he is a little more nervous than the other two. Hey, say hi to everybody. This is Blue. And we call him that because of his blue eyes. Hey, Blue, come here. Look over this way. Come here. He's old. He's 10, 12 years old. He's got health problems. We keep him going, though. He's one of my cats. He wandered up here. All my cats are strays that wandered up here, and I started feeding them. Isn't that right? I'm a good boy. But yep, that's Blue. Believe it or not, people back on this back road over here, they ran a Siamese breeding place where they were breeding Siamese cats. And when they moved, they left a bunch of Siamese cats here, and we've slowly gotten a bunch of them fixed. And he kept coming back every day, and finally he just never left. So I'm like, all right, you didn't leave. There go the balls. And I put him in the box and took him down and got him fixed. That's what we do. And then he's lived here ever since. I don't think he had a home. He does now, don't he? Yeah, he's my good boy. He loves the wet food. That's his thing, is wet food. He's indignant about it. He's an asshole about it. Gotta have his wet food. Isn't that right? I think he has teeth problems. He's old. And I think he's got teeth problems because he loves the wet food. He doesn't much like the hard food. And that's usually what's going on when that happens. Isn't that right? Yeah. He's a good boy. Yeah. Yeah, he's an outdoor. He comes in the house. They have a cat door. They can come in when they want. But like I got two cats that live in my bedroom, and I let them out in the house, but they don't go outside without supervision. They're just too young. We don't let them roam until they're at least 3 years old, 3 of our years old. And the reason is because they'll just go out and get killed by a car. Why raise them if they're just going to go get killed by a car? It don't make no sense. So I keep them in the bedroom, keep them in the house. They can run the whole house part of the day and the bedroom part of the day. It's nice and cool in there. They like it. They got windows they can look out. But I cannot let them just run free in the neighborhood until they're a good 3 years old. And then after that, they've been fixed for several years. After that, you can, let's not knock everything off, all right? You can slowly start letting them out, and you can get it to where they're not, it works out. Um, yeah, I know. Cats want you to smell their ass. That's cat. It's a smell ID. When a cat comes up to you and immediately puts their ass in your face, they're being nice. Don't you guys get it? They're being nice. You're supposed to lick their ass, or you're supposed to smell their ass, or whatever they want you to do with it. But they're being nice. They're presenting ass, and that's considered being nice in the kitty world. All cats should have wet food. I agree. What's wrong with your ear, buddy? You all right? I've got a bunch of cats. I've got another Siamese that's a little baby out there that the mama and the baby came wandering up here a while back. Or, well, the mama came up here pregnant. Um, I'm petting her now. I pet her again this morning. I'm just about to the point when I'm sure that baby's off the milk. She's going to get fixed. She's the last one that is actually one of mine, I guess, that I've decided to take in that's not fixed. That's my biggest thing is they have to get fixed right away. They're presenting ass. Yes. Yeah. He's a oh boy. He's got a neat face. He's got a very like almost like human look to him. I don't know what it is. I look in this cat's eyes and I see a deep soul in there. Yeah, he's a good one. He is an appreciative cat because see, he had a shitty life and he found this place and we fixed him. We give him food. He has everything he wants here. He's got a flea collar. He's got everything he needs here. And he's appreciative. He gets it. He knows what it's like to live on the street. And he's happy he's here. Isn't that right? I ain't lying. My boy. Oh. I got good cats. Oh. I mean, these cats, they walk up to each other and they smell the other one's ass and they go, oh, hey, it's Bill. Oh, there's easier ways to do that, you guys know. uh, you about ready to go out? Huh? You about ready to go out? You're taking us off the air. Just letting you know. One of those buttons launches the missiles. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Come on. Here, everybody wanted to say hi. You're filthy. Where have you been? It's Mom Bleep. Say hi. They're up here. You got to look up here. Right up here. Yeah, right there. Mama Bleepers. Hey, look at my ass. Anyway, yeah, cats have amazing ways to communicate. They do communicate a number of different things. Um, just because they do have different meows for different things. Like she just has a little meow that she does, and that's it. But I got like Ed Earl, he's vocal. I can tell the meow for I'm out of food or I'm out of water. He's got like a meow, meow, meow. He's got like this weird like I'm inquisitive, like where's my food? Where's my water? Um, or if he's in a door and he wants my attention, it's and I mean I can tell when I hear that cat. If he's just going meow meow meow, he's just wanting me to pay him attention. So I mean there's a lot of cats that are very vocal like that. Other cats like this one, she communicates with me different ways. She's very tactile. She likes to touch everything, as you can see. She's just moved the mic off. There you go. And there's the other mic. Get the other mic too. You don't miss any of them. America. Yeah, America. I'll tell you what, of all the places in the world, Australia has to be one of the best places, one of the neatest places. But I will tell you, nowhere in the world does more shit kill you than in Australia. Oh, that's a spider. It'll kill you. That's a snake. It kills you. That's a whatever. It kills you. It's like, oh wow, okay. The koala would kill you, but it couldn't catch you. That Joey, he'll kill you. Bloody hell. I always thought that was neat. It's like we have a spider this big and it bites you and it hurts. You guys have one this big and it eats your head off. Good night, Red. Have a good one. You're not going to miss much because I'm getting ready to sign off of here. I'm getting ready to sign off too, guys. Yeah, you can't hear me because the cat keeps pushing the mic off. See that? Stop it. I have very lovey cats. I mean, it's just the way it is. I love Australia. I used to love watching like the wildlife shows that come out of there. And man, there is no more frontier place other than maybe the deep oceans than Australia. I mean, because if you do something wrong there, it's not good. Oh man. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Yeah, well, she goes pushing the mic way over to the side too, so we'll give her a little bit of the blame, but not a lot, because she's just a cat. She can't be getting too much of the blame. Say hi, Mama. Say good night. Say something. Oh, she was completely feral. She showed up here with kittens in her mouth. I'm not lying. She had been hanging out, we've been feeding her, and the next thing you know, she shows up with cats, and all of a sudden, we can pet her. We're picking up her cats. She went from being feral to like this in a matter of a few months. It was, it was a very rapid transformation, and now she's going with me no matter where I go. I mean, she's one of my cats right now. This one and the gray one, Ed. They're kind of my two number one cats. Like if I was leaving today, I would definitely take the two of them. Yeah, I know. Cat hair. And she's a hairy mess, this one. Will you stop with the mic? They can hear that. what that sounds like? All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. Yeah, you know, I've had that almost the exact same thing happen quite a bit here with this one. Something will just get muted. I don't ever remember muting it, but anyway. Um, all right, everybody. Yes. Oh, I agree. Animals are a great judge, and um, I must be doing something right because I turn feral cats. That's what I do. I literally take a cat that won't even like let humans anywhere near it, and in a matter of a few months, I'm petting the cat like this. You know, that's what I do because I want them to have a good life, and a good life means they need a home with humans. That's a good life for a cat, and a street is not a good life. So I like to get them to where they're like this, and then she's got a great life now. Did you show him? Look at the tongue hanging out. Did you show him the tongue? Show him the tongue, Mom. Are you not going to show him the tongue? Show him the tongue. You got to show him the tongue. She's like, I'm not showing him the tongue. I'm not showing him the tongue. Forget about it. I didn't piss her off too bad, apparently. All right, guys. Yep, I actually think I think cats are by far the best pet. I know a lot of people are dog people, and God bless you. There's nothing wrong with dogs; they're good people too. But I'm a cat person. I love cats. I love the independence. I love the personality. See, you get more action out of a dog. You get more direct input out of a dog. But I think you get more affection, and you get more understanding out of a cat. That's just the way I feel. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. You guys have a good one out there. I'll be back tomorrow night. It'll almost be tonight. It's 11:33 on the East Coast, 7:33 out west, and we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. And tonight you've been watching, as always, we are live from our studios here in Southwest Florida. And we are here every night, from every night except Saturdays. I don't promise Saturdays. Sometimes I need a night off. But we're here just about every night. And also check out all of our other feeds. We've got the 7.2 is up tonight. I got it going. And I think that's about it right now. But we're working on this scanner program. I'm going to put things online. We will have up to as many as 8 or 9 things broadcasting at a time sometimes. So definitely check it out. And hopefully you guys will like some of the stuff that we're doing. So we'll see you guys next time. My name's Ian, and this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures. 7-3s, everybody. Have a good night out there and a safe tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow night right back here on the channel. Have a good one.